It's the worst fake crying I've ever seen. She's just using the technique.
The what?
The technique.
Holy
Amanda, this is my stepdad, Mark.
How long are you here, Amanda?
My mom's gonna pick me up around midnight.
Midnight's late for us. I'll call your mom. She can come pick you up now.
She's busy.
Doing what?
Chemotherapy.
Welcome back to Bandwagon Fans. I'm Jeff, and I'm all alone tonight. Jason wasn't feeling well, so he wasn't able to join me for this movie. But I did go see Thoroughbreds. This is a movie of two girls who were friends as children, drifted apart for a while, and then came back together under very strange circumstances. And the story of how the story of how they interact with each other, with one girl who isn't capable of feeling, who has no emotions, and one girl who is all emotions, and how they relate to one of their family members. So check out some highlights from the trailer, and we'll be back in just a minute to talk about the movie.
You hate him. You despise him.
Honey, you can't go in looking like that.
I'm fine.
Let me just...
I'm not gonna have to stand here all day like a robot repeating myself. I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine.
You ever think about just killing him?
How would you?
I am providing you all with early drug experiences that you will forever cherish. Who the hell are you?
A business proposition for you. You got a gun?
Yes, I have a gun. You don't know where I come from.
Westchester.
Amanda.
You have no idea.
I didn't think you'd bring it here.
You want to hold it?
No thanks. Okay. Shall we?
What am I going to tell my dad?
So, Thoroughbreds. So this was originally released at Sundance in January of 2017. Just hit a wide release here in 2018. The writing and directorial debut in film, at least, for Corey Finley. He was previously a playwright, and according to him, his first day on set for Thoroughbreds was the first day on any set. And really kudos to him, looking forward to his future work. The stars Olivia Cook as Amanda, a girl incapable of feeling any emotions. Anya Taylor-Joy, the one person in the movie that I'm a little bit familiar with, but she played Lily, a girl who is all emotions. And Amanda and Lily were friends as children, but drifted apart after, there's a flashback in the opening scene where Amanda does something rather horrific that she has no reaction to because she doesn't feel emotions, but which caused her to go into a mental institution. So the movie picks up after she's left the institution, and really gets going when her and Lily are reconnecting for a study date, and then we quickly find out that Amanda's mom was actually paying Lily to do this study date with Amanda. So other people in the movie, Anton Yelchin plays Tim, who is a kind of a down and out loser drug dealer, only selling to kids in the town. And then Paul Sparks plays Mark, Amanda Taylor-Joy or Lily's stepfather, and Francie Swift as Lily or Anya Taylor-Joy's mother. So overall, really enjoyed this movie and really looking forward to watching it again. There's a lot of comparisons, I think in the trailer, and some other people have made comparisons of this to Heathers or American Psycho, and thematically, those comparisons are apt. So specifically, all three of these movies in one way or another deal with our inner monologue, how we think about ourselves and talk about ourselves versus how we present ourselves to the outside world. So the main relationship here is between Amanda and Lily. Amanda, incapable of feeling emotions, and that rattling noise you hear is the cats running around the house, but whatever. So Amanda, incapable of feeling emotions, and Lily, who is all emotions, and they become kind of fascinated with each other and really trying to learn about themselves through their relationship with the other person. So so the very beginning of the movie, there's Amanda, or Olivia Cook's character, euthanizes a horse with a kitchen knife. She does this because the horse was injured and she thought it was the right thing to do to kill this horse. But of course it horrified the people around her, so she was put in the mental institution. This becomes a point later on when Lily, anyways, we'll get to that in the spoiler section. So Lily is with her mom and living with her mother and stepfather in a immaculate house, and everything about her is immaculate. There's a maid that runs around the background picking up anything anybody sets down. Her hair is perfectly done, makeup, her clothes just incredibly well put together, and at least appearances, a model young adult. Whereas Amanda, with her hair kind of wild and just says outrageous things, she's, kind of the wild, unkempt character. But in reality, Amanda is desperately trying to figure out how to fit into a world where it doesn't come easy for her, but she desperately wants to. And Lily is quite self-absorbed, and although she's a bundle of emotions, she's consumed with her emotions and oblivious to anybody else's. So her stepfather, Mark, at one point calls her out on this, and the central conflict from the movie is Amanda suggesting to Lily that they just kill Mark. At first, Lily's repulsed by this, but she actually does like the idea. And after doing some research and learning more about how Amanda killed the horse earlier, decides to take her up on the offer. They recruit Tim, the local drug dealer guy, and all this. There's just some spoilers here, but all this is really covered in the trailers. But they recruit Tim to kill the stepfather, Mark. And then the rest of the movie is the outcome of that whole thing. So, again, you got this conflict of Lily, in particular, this outward manifestation of how she presents herself versus all this conflict and this real evilness inside of her. Whereas Amanda looks like she's evil on the outside, but she's actually really a sweet girl who really just wants just a friend, So in that sense, it is really the theme thematically. It's really similar to Heathers or American Psycho. It's a couple of visual references to those movies, but this movie really does stand on its own. And I think the biggest reason I'm looking forward to watching it again is it is definitely from a millennial perspective. Corey Finley, the writer and the director, is only like 27 or 28 years old when this movie was made. So definitely within that millennial generation, and it's definitely from that perspective. There's a scene where the stepfather goes off on Lily for being self-absorbed and talking about how life is going to knock her around, and it was the same kind of thing you hear about millennials all the time, that they just need to get out in the real world and they'll learn how the real world works. So there was definitely that dialogue between generations within the movie, but I need to see this a couple more times to kind of get what exactly Corey Finley's point of view was and what the argument he was trying to make. He was definitely making a social commentary. This is a dark comedy, but the exact nature of his commentary was a little too subtle to catch on the first viewing, and that's okay. I understood what was going on in the movie. I'm just not entirely sure what everything meant. But like I said, overall, incredibly good movie. I'll give it a, right now, provisionally, depending on reviewings. Right now, I'll give it a solid 4 out of 5 stars. Definitely worth watching. and really worth watching in the theater. So if you haven't seen it yet, these are the kind of movies we want in the theater. In a few years from now, they might not be there. They might just go straight to Netflix, straight to Amazon. So really get out there and support these smaller budget independent movies. So with that being said, I'm going to do the fade out and fade in thing, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about some of the spoilers. So Thoroughbreds, going to talk about a little bit more about the movie, get into some spoilers, some discussion about what I think some of the themes were and what Corey Finley was trying to say. But first off, I just want to talk about some of the performances. Olivia Cooke as Amanda. I haven't seen her in anything before, but she was great, and I'm looking forward to seeing her again. And Anya Taylor-Joy as Lily, also great. I've seen her previously in The Witch, and like The Witch, her performance was very reserved, very, very close in, a lot of minute facial expressions, and just a lot of acting with her eyes. Really looking forward to seeing her try something with a little more of a dynamic range. But if you want an actress where you just lock the camera in and so people just stare at somebody for 30 seconds, she's the best. She is, without doing anything, just the way she looks at something makes you want to know what's going on behind those eyes. And same with Olivia Cooke. Playing somebody who doesn't feel any emotions. Obviously, for the most part, she's going to be expressionless, but still really did a great job of drawing you in, despite without any big theatrics. So really great performances from the two of them. Anton Yelchin playing the down on his luck drug dealer also did really well. His storyline, he gets kind of sucked into their plot to murder Lily's stepfather, and he wants nothing to do with it. But these two girls kind of rope him in and use the threat of calling the police on him for selling drugs, which would have been like his third strike. He'd be facing a lot of time. So he gets roped into this, wants nothing to do with it, tries to act like he's a badass, but he's not. But when it came time for the night for him to actually shoot Mark, he bails. They're able to take his gun from him, and then they leave it for him to pick it back up to kill Mark, but he just takes the gun and he takes off. So their initial attempt to murder the stepfather doesn't work, so they decide they're just going to do it on their own. Maybe. I might be messing that up. So it's been a few days since I've actually seen the movie. It took me a couple days to record this video. So they end up towards the end of the movie. They're sitting on a couch watching the movie together, and this is after Mark has gone off on Lily, and they're sitting and watching the movie, and Lily looks over at Amanda and says, they're talking, and then she says, "Stop drinking." Amanda's drinking this juice, and it turns out that Lily had actually drugged the juice. Rohypnol or something. Yeah, Rohypnol. With the idea that Amanda would pass out and Lily would go kill her father and plant the weapon and blood on Amanda, her really only friend in the world. So she's going to frame her friend for the murder, but then she has a rare moment of self-doubt and a conscience and tries to get Amanda to stop. And Amanda ends up gulping the juice, so she ends up passing out. And initially, Lily seems pretty distraught by this, but she decides to go through with it. And off camera, she kills her stepfather, comes back with a chef's knife covered in blood, and not just plants it on Amanda, but actually curls up and puts her head in Amanda's lap. So that's kind of how the movie wraps up. So at the very end of the movie, after the father is killed, Lily runs into Anton Yelchin, or Tim, again on the street, and she's back to her really well put together, coiffed appearance. She runs into Tim, and Tim, Anton Yelchin clearly does not want to talk to her. He's like, he's a car valet at this point. But they do end up talking. He asks her how Amanda's doing, and she says she hasn't actually heard from Amanda. And this goes back to that appearance versus inner monologue, because although she's very well put together, she's saying, I haven't heard from Amanda, there's a voiceover where of Amanda reading a letter to Lily, and Lily's clearly aware of this. So basically Amanda's in a mental institution and talking about how it's really not all that bad. She kind of fits in there. So it's kind of that the full arc for Lily is reserved and well-mannered, with all this turmoil inside, and then kind of letting free once she meets Amanda, but now she's back to being well-reserved on the outside, and I think more at peace with who she is, and accepting that she kind of is a monster. Maybe I might be reading too much into it, but that's just kind of the sense I got. And that's really the central theme throughout the movie, is that difference between how people are presented on the outside versus their inner monologue. And that's really where you kind of get shades of Heathers, where the Heathers are present something to the outside world, where on the inside they're completely dissatisfied with their lives or bulimic, and Veronica is there to call BS on all of it. American Psycho, the other movie this has been compared to, has that same kind of thing where Christian Bale is perfectly manicured Wall Street tycoon, Wall Street trader, but on the inside he's a raging homicidal maniac. So you do get those themes pretty strong. Where I'm not really sure what the movie was trying to say was in the dynamic between the millennial generation versus Gen X and baby boomers. There's definitely some social commentary there. I'm just not entirely, the commentary might have been a little too subtle, so I'm not entirely sure exactly the argument Corey Finley was trying to make. But I'm definitely gonna be watching this movie a second and third time because I want to unpeel that onion and see and try to figure out exactly what he was saying there. Really strong performances, really subtle, understated performances, but they drew you in. And that's really overall how I would describe this movie. Very quiet, somber, understated, but really drew me in, made me want to know more about it. So for those of you that have seen it, hopefully you've seen it before you went through all this, through the whole video. But what did you think of the movie? Leave your comments below, and as always, like and subscribe to our channel to catch up with all of our latest reviews. So I'm Jeff, flying solo tonight, and get on the bandwagon.